Honestly, man, this might be the worst decision I have ever made for my mental, but I figured I'd try it out anyway. I've always been someone who was more partial to Dota. I have like 10,000 hours in Dota, but the last time I actually played that game was about a year plus ago. I've kept up with the esports, but it just doesn't really feel the same anymore. And I've always been someone who tuned into Worlds, more for the spectacle than anything, but to be honest, I don't really know what the fuck's going on most of the time. The highest rank I have achieved in Dota is about Ancient 3, which is slightly above average, but not really super good. But I was always a more casual player anyway, playing with friends, playing Turbo, which is supposed to be Dota's version of a quicker game, but believe it or not, it's actually kinda longer than the average League game. Now, I'm not promising that I'll grind to challengers, I'm just trying my best here to learn the game, learn all the champions, and see how far I can push myself if I do end up liking the game. So if y'all are interested, I'll be trying to stream my progress as much as I can on a daily basis, or until the game breaks my mental completely. I have tried looking for a proper guide to watch first. I don't even know what's good and what's not. I think the best way to approach this is I definitely should kind of just learn the general sense of what League is compared to Dota. There's not a lot of guides that show Dota players transitioning to League, whereas there is a lot of players from League hopping over to Dota. So I need to learn what the general roles are. Beyond that, I guess it's mostly just the champions, which is probably gonna be really difficult because there's a lot of freaking champions. I know there's pro games going on right now, but watching pro games is not gonna fucking help me at all. I guess we'll start with this. It's the complete beginner's guide to League of Legends in 2026.
League of Legends has changed a lot over the years, and in 2026, it is now looking better and more accessible than ever before. First up, the best place for any new player to start is the League tutorial. In fact, you don't have much of a choice, as the game is going to force you to do it. Each champion in League of Legends has 4 abilities.
This Winter fucking Wyvern, what the fuck?
Which for point and click are by default set to Q, W, E, and R. Then on top of that, you have a passive skill that usually ties your champion's whole kit together in one way or another. For abilities that need to be aimed, holding the key is going to show you the ability's range and the direction it's going to travel. For targeted abilities, holding the key instead shows a circle, letting you know how close you need to be in order to use it. And then you can simply aim or put your cursor on that target and let go of the bind to fire the ability. You then have 2 extra spells called summoners, which you can select at the start of every game. You won't have all these unlocked when you first start out, but they're basically just extra abilities that you can use at any point during the game, which are, by default, bound to D and F. And I say pick, but basically one of those is almost always going to be Flash once you unlock it, which Flash lets you blink a short distance on a very long cooldown. And then for the
here's the difference between League and Dota. Like a major difference, we almost always have a blink skill on anyone in Dota. If you don't have a blink skill, you would probably buy Blink Dagger just to have an easier option to reposition yourself in case you need to. Just be in the right place at the right time. But League is like, you have that every, what, 2-3 minutes? Like it's on cooldown. That is probably one of the hardest parts
on the map after a short channel, a damage over time spell called Ignite, a heal for you and an ally, a shield, a speed increase called Ghost, and Exhaust, which slows the target and makes them deal less damage for a short period of time. Oh, and there's also Smite. Now, you automatically get assigned this when playing the jungle role, but more on that in just a little bit. Each champion on Summoner's Rift starts at level 1, with the exception of Swiftplay, where you're going to instead be level 3. Every time you're near a minion or a champion that dies, or
I'm guessing Swiftplay is League's Turbo, except Turbo already lasts like the same length as an average League game, so I don't know how long Swiftplay lasts.
Jungle camp, you're gonna gain experience. With every level you advance, you gain extra passive stats, and more importantly, a skill point, which you can then place in either your Q, W,
probably a good place to
either
train hero knowledge or champion knowledge.
Now, if you're not sure what to level, don't worry about that. League does make it pretty dang obvious. The recommended ability is just gonna start flashing when you gain a level, and you can confidently put your point there as a beginner. Now, your ultimate, which is your R, works just a little bit differently, and it can't be unlocked until you reach level 6 and can then be improved at levels 11 and 16. Above the minimap, you can see your team along with their level, their health, their mana, and cooldown of their ultimate ability displayed by this green orb. Now, above that, you can check when dead enemy champions are going to be
You know, we have this in Dota, and I think half the players don't even know.
To bring up the in-game scoreboard, you're going to hit Tab. This is going to enable you to track the KDA, the CS,
Same shit.
and the items of both your own and the opposing team. Enemies will only update, though, if they're currently on vision. Otherwise, they're going to be displayed as a question.
Ah, fuck, items as well. Ooh, that's something I have to learn.
Tab also shows you a load of other information, like how many objectives you have, as well as when they're all spawning, but again, more on that later. The next thing to cover is roles. Before you queue up any games, you are going to be asked to choose 2 roles out of the 5 that are available. Your first choice is your primary role, and the game's going to try to place you there whenever possible. The role you pick determines where you play on the map, and it also influences the types of champions that you're usually going to see or play in that position. So, starting off with top lane. Top is a 1v1 lane where to survive, you're going to need to be on a champion that is very, very self-sufficient and can hold their own, typically falling into one of 3 archetypes. Tanks that are built to soak up damage and act as the team's front line. They're great at engaging fights, protecting teammates, or locking down enemies while still dealing some respectable damage.
Same
Juggernauts,
concept.
which are like the bruisers and fighters of the Rift, bring in a mix of high damage and durability, but at the cost of mobility. And then skirmishers. These are champions that excel in 1v1s or smaller scale fights, often making them strong split pushers that want to fight away from the rest of the map and focus on taking structures over all that team fighting.
Dive them in tower like this.
Next on the list is mid lane. Mid puts you right in the center of everything, which means you can get to any part of the map quickly. Now, unlike top or bot lane, mid is a much shorter and much safer lane. Because of this, the type of champions usually played here are things like mages or casters, champions that deal high amounts of burst damage but are typically squishy and immobile, needing the safety of the shorter mid lane to survive. You'll also even occasionally find assassins in mid lane too. These specialize in taking out squishy champions, and they love to be in the center of the map on that mid lane to roam to other lanes and look for cheeky kills. Now, then there's bot lane. If you enjoy playing
That's the hard part, right? Even in Dota, you have to determine when the best timing is to actually go gank on either lanes. Mostly is when you have your ult. It's really hard to decide.
The meta in bot lane revolves around having one carry champion known as an ADC, which is just short for attack damage carry, and that's paired with a support, all playing together in a 2v2. Now, as the carry, or ADC, your job is exactly what it sounds like, to carry. These types of champions, they're known as marksmen, and they start off weak in the early game, and then they scale massively as the game continues to go on, eventually providing their team with the main source of consistent damage output that tends to come from their basic attacks rather than their abilities. Support is unique in the fact that rather than last hitting minions for gold, like every other player on your team, you gain it passively through your support item, with support champions typically providing more in the way of utility for the team than pure damage output, either through engaged supports that look to set up their team with powerful stuns, knockups, or hooks, or a more conventional support type called enchanters that focus on keeping their team alive and buffing their damage through various shields and heals. If you've played healers in other games, enchanters, they're going to feel really, really familiar. But besides supporting your team as a support players have another very, very important job: controlling vision. Aside from the free trinket ward everybody gets, supports gain extra wards through a unique item. The most unique and diverse role out of all the roles is undoubtedly jungle. So instead of staying in the top, the mid, or the bot lane, the jungler plays in the space between them. And instead of killing minions, they earn their golden experience by clearing jungle camps, neutral monsters that are found in predetermined
Do this in Dota, you get low priority.
locations around the map. But jungle isn't only about farming camps. It's your job to also impact your lanes through what's known as ganking. You're going to hear this a lot in the League community. Ganking is essentially leaving the jungle to surprise enemies in their lane. And a big part of that role is managing your time. Spend too much time farming camps, and you're going to quickly become the reason your laners lose 1v1s. But if you're always ganking, you're going to end up under-leveled and low on gold yourself. But due to how diverse this role is, jungle has one of the widest champion pools in the game. As long as a champion can clear camps effectively, you can jungle. The most popular picks, though, are going to be the ones that bring something valuable to ganks, like crowd control or strong burst damage. Do keep in mind that everything that we just covered so far regarding roles is just a general guideline. While you are going to find that certain champs are much more common in certain roles, League gives you plenty of room to experiment.
You experiment, your 4 other teammates are gonna just surrender.
There's one more system that ties directly into them, and that is role quests, which are a brand new addition for 2026. Now, depending on your chosen role, you're going to automatically receive a quest at the start of the game. You're going to be able to see this by mouse overing this icon right here on your HUD. You can also check the progress of your own and other players' quests by pressing tab. For example, top, mid, and ADCs will gain progress from killing towers, killing minions, or killing champions, doubled when in their assigned lane. Jungle progresses by killing jungle camps, and support progresses by dealing damage to turrets, champions, or helping their ADC last hit. With them
So it's kind of just
naturally completing around the 12 to 15 minute mark,
battle
depending on how
pass quests.
Now, as for the rewards, if you're brand new to this won't matter much yet, but returning players should know this. Top laners will gain access to a free teleport with a longer cooldown, or an enhanced teleport if they already took it as one of their chosen summoners. They also receive bonus experience throughout the game, and their level cap is increased to 20 instead of the standard 18. This gives top lane a natural level advantage, helping them stay relevant as a frontline, split push, or damage threat. Junglers are going to get massively enhanced movement speed while in the jungle, as well as an improved version of Smite. Mid laners, they receive a free boot upgrade for extra stats and extra movement speed, along with an empowered recall that has its cooldown reduced by kills and assists. ADC players receive a burst of gold, earn extra gold from minions and kills. And their boots, they no longer take up an inventory slot, allowing them to build an extra item in the late game, providing even more scaling. And lastly, the supports, they gain cheaper control wards, extra passive gold generation, and control wards no longer take up an inventory slot and can instead be used by pressing V by default. So, you doing all right so far? Now that you understand all the different roles, let's zoom out here, take a big picture, and
so you kind of just get bonuses, which we don't really get in Dota. I guess it doesn't matter which hero you pick then, like which champion you pick then, because you're already assigned the lane, and they'll just give it to you based on what lane, like what role you're playing.
Actually happens. The map itself and the objectives around it. Objectives come in many shapes and forms, from evolving purple void creatures to magical elemental dragons to just plain old turrets.
Yeah, turrets hurt a lot more than towers in Dota.
Unit at a time, which you'll see highlighted by the red
You just can't dive early.
The first thing that enters that turret's range becomes the target until it dies or until it leaves the range. But there's one very important exception here that you need to know. If you damage an enemy champion while standing inside that turret's range, the turret will immediately switch to targeting you. Turrets also have what's known as plating, which is why the health bar looks just a little bit different. Turrets reward a substantial amount of gold, and that gold is split evenly between each of the 5 plates. This encourages players to push their lane, and
this I know
will deal bonus damage, which all helps you break the plates faster. The turret hasn't been attacked for a while, and what it means is the first hit done to it will deal bonus damage, which all helps you break the plates faster. So to understand the rest of the objectives here, we need to talk about the jungle. We touched on this slightly when discussing roles, but the jungle is divided into 4 quadrants, with each team having their own side of the jungle. Each half of the jungle has 6 unique monsters: Gromp, wolves, blue buff, raptors, red buff, and Krugs. Then in each river, both at the top and bottom side, there's a scuttle crab. The only ones that you really have to care about here are the red and blue buffs and scuttle crab. Red and blue, when killed, provide combat buffs, which you can see under a champion, with red granting health regeneration and causing your attacks to slow, making ganking a whole lot easier, and then blue providing mana or energy regeneration, as well as lowering the cooldown of your abilities just a little bit. When the game starts, the jungler typically begins by killing their buff to help with the rest of their clear. Now, as the game moves forward and these monsters respawn, the buffs they drop will be left on the floor for another player to pick up. Now, onto the scuttle crab. These appear slightly later in the game, typically around...
Are these buffs permanent?
The time that you clear the rest of your camps. And when it's killed, it creates an area that helps your
until
team
you die?
in 2 different ways. Providing an area that gives your team a speed boost when walking through it, as well as providing vision in the river. It's often one of the game's very first mini objectives that teams fight over, because both junglers, depending on their route, can end up at the same one. Now, when you look at the map itself, you can see exactly where each of these camps spawn, highlighted by these icons. And a tip for anybody looking to try out jungle is to click this button right here to the the left of your minimap. This is going to highlight the camp on your minimap where you should start, along with what camp you should do next, making learning jungle, let's just say, a whole lot less intimidating. Anyway, let's get back to the big stuff here. If you look at the map, you're going to notice two special areas marked on opposite sides of the river. These mark the location of what's referred to as neutral objectives, epic monsters that require the help of multiple players on the team to secure in order to gain game-changing buffs. In the south, we have the dragon pit. At the 5-minute mark, a special dragon appears right here for both teams to fight over. It can be one of 6 different types, and a new one spawns every 5 minutes after the previous one is killed. Each of them providing unique team-wide buffs that last for the entirety of the game, even persisting through death, making them an extremely high priority. Now, while you don't need to memorize all of the dragon's effects right away, that'd be kind of crazy, here's an idea of all the buffs and what they provide. Infernal grants your entire team bonus ability power or attack damage, Mountain provides resistances, and Cloud gives you movement speed. Then once the 3rd dragon of the game spawns, all future dragons will be that same element, and the map will change slightly to reflect that. For example, if it's the Mountain Drake, some extra rock formations are going to spawn. Most of these are pretty minor, but the most impactful is undoubtedly from the Hextech Drake, as when this happens, these little Hextech gates are going to spawn that you can use to get back on the map quicker or cross from one side to the other. You're able to see which drakes your team has accumulated by hitting tab in-game. And once you've reached 4 dragons in total and fill up this bar right here, your team is going to then be rewarded with the Dragon Soul buff, a permanent version of that game's chosen elemental drake, providing a greatly enhanced version of its buff. For example, Infernal Soul is now going to cause your attacks and your abilities to explode around the target. Mountain is going to give you a shield, and Cloud Soul gives you even more movement speed, which is further increased when using your ultimate.
How often do people get all 4 dragon buffs? I don't assume it's a lot.
And so on and so forth.
I assume
on top
games
of these
just
additional
end.
effects, once one team claims that Dragon Soul, the Elemental Drakes will then be replaced with Elder Dragon. This is the game's most powerful objective, which grants the team that kills it an incredibly strong temporary power-up that increases damage and causes you to execute any enemy champion below 20%. Oftentimes, it's going to guarantee that that team is going to take the win in the next team fight. Anyway, while all that goes down on the bottom side of the map, up here on the top side, we have the Baron Pit. Here, 3 different neutral objectives.
What if the team that doesn't have the 4 dragons kill the Elder Dragon and get the execution buff? Is that like a comeback mechanic that
spawn throughout the game?
Is a viable
Void
strat?
Grubs, Herald, and Baron Nashor, all of which help your team push down lanes and destroy towers in various ways. Void Grubs spawn
Provided you
first
get it.
at 8 minutes, providing a fairly easy-to-take objective that grants the entire team a permanent buff that does additional damage to turrets and spawns these little Voidlings. At 15 minutes, Void Grubs are then replaced with Rift Herald. Slaying this drops an item you can pick up and then use in order to summon a neutral monster you can jump inside and drive, enabling you to crash it straight into a turret, dealing bonus damage. Then, with Baron Nashor spawning much later into the game at the 20-minute mark. Now,
I have to see that again.
You can jump inside and drive, enabling you to crash it straight into a turret, dealing bonus damage. Then, with Baron Nashor spawning
What if it hits players?
much later into the game
Is that
at
not
the
a thing?
20-minute mark. Now, out of these 3, this is going to be the one that requires more or less your whole team to take down. And once it's killed, it grants your entire team gold and a temporary buff, lost on death, and that increases your damage and empowers your recall. More importantly, though, when you're around allied minions with this buff, it's going to empower them, causing them to deal more damage and take a lot less, which makes it very common for teams with this buff to take multiple turrets in a single push. Okay, that was definitely a lot of information, some information overload, and while that does definitely sound very confusing at first, trust us, it's really, really not. Once you play a few games, you're really going to understand how the
Here's the thing though. It starts at 8 minutes, like the grubs, but does the entire team just go? Is it just the jungler that goes? Can they solo it? Like as a support, do you have to just wrap around and protect the guy doing it? I don't know.
Just press tab during the game, and you're going to see all the timers right at the top of your screen showing exactly which objective
This would be a Dota Plus thing. You gotta pay for this shit.
next, and a countdown to when it will spawn. And when just starting out, please do not stress too much about objectives. As you play, you're going to naturally learn when and why they matter and the best times to take them.
How do I know when I'm qualified to take it?
Laning is simply the term that we use here as lovers of League to describe playing against your opponent in one of the 3 lanes. Here's where League really starts to get tricky though, especially for new players, as how that lane actually plays out depends entirely on which champion you picked and what opponent you're up against. Even if you don't kill your opponent, coming out ahead in these trades can still lead to you being stronger. You could force that champion to have to return to base and heal. They're going to miss out on golden experience from minions while they're gone, or maybe you just damage them enough that they get scared and start playing way further back. Now, when this happens, you've now got what we like to call lane priority, just a fancy way of saying that you're the one in control. With lane priority, you're able to leave your lane first if your team needs help with those pesky objectives that we were just speaking about earlier. Now, I can already hear half of you ask what's help with those pesky objectives that we were just speaking about earlier. Now, I can already hear half of you asking me, if your teammate can see something, you can see it too. This shared vision comes from several different sources. It comes from allied champions, friendly
so I need to see how much
towers, wards, and even
give.
lights. Throughout Summoner's Rift, you're also going to find bushes of all shapes and sizes. Now, while they might look different, they all follow the same rules, and these rules are slightly different to your standard Fog of War. Even if you have vision of the area around a bush, you still can't see inside that bush itself unless you have direct vision inside, which you can get from any of the same sources. So that's allied champions, minions, wards placed inside the bush, or even certain champion abilities. Anyway, wards. These are items you can purchase and even get given for free that you can place on that map to give yourself and your team vision of the surrounding area. There are two types of wards to talk about here. You have stealth wards and control wards, which you'll often hear be called pink wards for obvious reasons. Stealth wards, they're invisible wards that everyone starts with thanks to your free trinket, and that's this thing right here that we mentioned earlier, given to you automatically at the start of every game, which by default is going to be bound to 4. These are free to use, and they'll passively recharge over time. When you place them, they turn invisible after a short delay, and they stay hidden from enemies unless they use special tools to detect those wards. Control wards are a little bit different though, and they can be purchased for 75 gold in the shop. These not only provide you vision and last indefinitely, but more importantly, they reveal and disable enemy stealth wards in that
sentries,
area, allowing you to destroy them. With two limitations that we need to talk about here. They're visible to enemies, meaning if they spot them, they can see and destroy them, and you can only have one active on the map at a given time. This makes them super valuable for making sure certain areas like important objectives or gank paths stay completely under your team's control.
Can you destroy them yourself? I guess you can't, because denying is not a thing in League.
You can also visit the shop and trade your yellow ward trinket for one of the two other options. The Farsight or blue trinket, which basically just allows you to place a ward and gain vision from really far away, or the red trinket, known as Oracle Lens or Sweeper. This one plays an important role in vision minigame, as when it's used, it's going to scan the area around your champion, revealing any hidden enemy stealth wards, temporarily disabling those and making them visible for just long enough for you to destroy them. Typically, they're picked up by junglers and supports. Now, you might remember earlier in the video when we mentioned that supports play a huge role when it comes to vision control. That's because as a support progresses their role quest, their starting item upgrades, unlocking replenishable stealth wards that refresh every time they return to base. This makes supports the only role that can place wards consistently throughout the game, outside of the single control ward you can have down and the basic free yellow trinket everyone gets. One brand new change to vision in 2026 though is the addition of Fey lights, which you'll see placed around the map. What these do is they mark ideal spots to place your wards, since not only are they positioned in high traffic areas and common ward spots, but when placing a ward in one, you'll also reveal an area around them.
So I don't know if players kind of meet each other or have a chance to meet each other before the creeps spawn, but you can go around just putting wards. I guess they do that here as well. So phase spots are kind of similar to cliffs in Dota. Cliffs give a lot more vision of the whole area.
The majority of players opt for free camera, as this just gives you complete control. And you can then center the camera at any time by pressing or even holding spacebar. Next, something we suggest that all new players do is to go to the interface and then reduce the size of the HUD. By default, this is set to 100, but we recommend somewhere around 50, as this just lets you see far more of your screen. Then in the same section, we suggest increasing the size of your minimap. Now, like we mentioned earlier, your minimap is a crucial part of League, and increasing the size can help with your awareness right from the get-go. Again, somewhere around the 50 mark is going to be great. And lastly, enable Show Spell Cost, which is located right here. This simply just shows the exact mana cost for each and every one of your abilities on the icon, making it easy for you to quickly identify how much mana you need for each one, as well as also tell you if you have enough for your full combo. And remember, everything that we've covered in this monstrosity of a guide is just the beginning. If you want to go
I also turned off auto attack almost immediately because I found it annoying in the tutorial that I constantly had to just miss last hits because of the auto attacks. I get the gist of it, but I still have a hard time grasping the timing. I guess that'll just come with repetitive plays. I'm looking at mid and ADC. Here's the thing though, right? Because I don't know who's a good content creator for League and who's not.
That you're here, get yourself some popcorn, get yourself something to drink, because we're gonna talk about quite a lot, and this might be one of the most important videos you'll ever see.
This is a bit too much for me. Eventually, maybe I'll watch this. But for the time being, I think this is a little bit too advanced. I generally just want to know what you do as a mid laner and the timings of it. I have finished the tutorial and I think it is a good time to probably hop into some bot games just to test out some heroes. There's so much shit here that I do not know what's going on. I'm thinking like the best thing for me to do is probably play quick play eventually, just to learn what a lot of different heroes do. Maybe it's like the same in a turbo where if you play quick play it doesn't really translate well to normal game. Yeah, I'll play co-op versus AI. I'll try a beginner one first. If I don't do that bad, then I'll play intermediate. So what do you buy first?
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I know what I'm doing.
We're already starting to fight.
First blood.
It seems like he already knows what he's doing, so Oi, 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 oi. So aggressive. What the fuck? Okay, this is ass, dude. Okay, hugging towers. Haha.
Sure you can handle me?
I just shouldn't care, right? I should be farming.
An enemy has been slain.
Not a problem.
Ass. Oh, so you get passive gold anyway, even if you can't last hit. Okay, I think this is difficult because we have someone who kind of knows what he's doing and it's not playing like the traditional. Okay, so mana is a lot shittier as well. I have ult, I should have used ult. Brain.
I know what I'm doing.
The fuck? So he becomes a ghost. Kinda. Like I wanna go? Just becomes a ghost when he dies. I should have probably placed something here, I think.
Double kill.
Okay, my skill range is low. Maybe I can ult and kill him, but I don't know. Not dead.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay, they turn enemy units against you. They turn your own units against you, I mean.
Not a problem.
The hell is that? That looks a jungle creep. These games, I don't think it's gonna help me. I'ma be real, cause there's just people who really know their shit and they're kinda owning. So I don't know what the traditional experience of a game is gonna be like. I know this is a good place, but I'm just putting it. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Don't get cocky.
Not even sure if it's worth, or if I should just save my ults for team fights. I'm still definitely clueless on what the fuck is happening. Not learning at all. Not learning at all. You know? You thought I missed? No. It was intimidation.
An enemy has been slain.
I've got a
I
good
learned.
feeling.
Like, I'm just following the guides without even knowing what item does what. So maybe I should be taking the time to read. I didn't even do shit there. I didn't hold. I don't know. I don't think I learned shit because I was pretty much playing without a support. Kinda hard to gauge. I need to play different champions, right? I could unlock. What is the best way to unlock skin? I'm not unlock champions. She's hot. I like hot. So I'll say this. How I play Dota, or how I'm gonna approach League, is probably similar to how I'm playing Dota, or how I used to play Dota. It is also similar to how I play gacha games. Basically, if I find a character to be hot, I'm gonna wanna have them. I don't really care about what they do or how good they are. Maybe they're bad for the meta, maybe they're not even in my role. Just kind of want to have them. That's just how it is.
Minions have spawned.
It's understandable why she needs all three skills. The third one does help you a lot. The second one, I still don't know how you hit it. Steps on it for 1.5 seconds is insane though, isn't that? Maybe you stun someone, you wait for someone to get stunned and then... or slowed. Why am I trying to body block creeps?
Cheers. Excellent. Much appreciated.
First blood.
The fuck? Aww. How the fuck did I kill him?
An
What the
easy call
fuck? Yeah.
Fancy a treat? Got you.
Come back here.
Such a waste.
I don't even know what happened. What is he doing?
Has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Don't touch me. Don't you touch me.
In my sights.
Rampage.
I got this first. Pop that. I don't even know how I'm killing this man. It's not like my build is any different. What is you thinking? What is you doing?
Excellent shot.
Dominating.
Almost. Oh, yo.
I'll make this quick.
Sure. Oh, look at that skin. He knows what he's doing. He dead. Never mind.
Target marked. I never miss.
What the fuck even is this hero?
Your team has destroyed.
This champion, this whatever. He dead.
Legendary.
Open and shut. On to the next.
Like that. I'm so dead. So much damage. Except this guy. I don't know what the fuck this guy. Holy. He basically just like 1v3'd or something. Gotta just keep learning this, I guess. It's day 1. It's day 0. Kinda. I haven't even played a single queue against people. But yes, thank you guys for watching. Hope y'all have a wonderful day. Subscribe if y'all are interested in following along with the journey. And hopefully I improve.